there's so many tracks, and it's such a one of the things I noticed just in general about the record in Stasis. Number one is it sounds huge where it needs to sound huge. It pulls back where it needs to pull back. There are a lot of textures with synth, clean guitars, various vocals going on. Andy,
Thank you.
Seem to know when to bring in the rough stuff and pull it back. And one of the questions I always have is, how do they get it to sound huge? Well, I've got the tracks in front of me and I can see like 5 or 6 tracks of bass alone. And then, I mean, how many overhead microphones? Like, how did you even play, Mike? You've got like 2 mics.
Well, we stopped doing the 2 overheads after this one because when we tracked this, we didn't have a mix engineer.
Oh.
We were tracking and then we were shopping around for mix engineers. We tracked it on its own. I did the Dead Nest drum playthrough at the same time. So if you want to see what the mics look like, then watch the Dead Nest drum playthrough because you can see all the mics. That was part of the same session. Well, we recorded the drums over 4 different sessions. And as we went along, we mostly removed mics because I did what I was used to doing, which was having the large diaphragm or the ribbons, the large ribbons and then small on the outside. But they were nice and high. They were quite far away from me. So that worked really well. But having then George was like, I didn't use the ribbons. You don't have to use them anymore. And then we ended up adding another pair of really nice room mics, I think ML160s or something like that, which the head engineer of the studio had installed into the ceiling just above one of the clouds above the kit. Mm-hmm. Had this really amazing bass build up. And it was a really cool stereo pair that was kind of like off to the right of the kit, like I want to say about 7-8 feet away. So that was really cool. Other than that, everything stayed the same. We just played around for a while, got a cool sound before we were very much producing it, and then George was just working with what we'd done. Well, we knew that we wanted to do it in a way where we would come back, redo it all the same way every time. But yeah, Mick really went for it on those fucking multi-tracks, man. He really and after that we decided we wanted him to do the whole record because we were like, how can we not put out more songs without him? And he was cool with it, which was amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that was initially going to be my first question for you, Mike. Was how the hell did you play with all those microphones? Carefully, of course, right?
They were pretty well placed. They were out of the way. A part of good sounding drums is to hit the things in the right place. So if you're just fucking wildly whacking everywhere, then you're fucked. But yeah, the good drummers get the better mics because they're more trusted not to smash them to pieces.
Yeah. Well, then how many vocal tracks do we have? Let's take a look. After I get done with all these guitar tracks, there's all these freaking guitar tracks.
A lot. I think there's a lot. I edited them myself.
Lavos, I remember there were a lot because you remember we had there was the chant at the end, and then there were.
Yeah, and there's a lot of tracks are like consolidated tracks of groups of tracks already. So. Yeah,
I'm still
Andy self-produced and self-engineered and self-edited everything. Hell yeah, he's a verified badass.
Forget it.
So take us through that. You said you edited the vocals yourself. Does that take long? Because I imagine being self-conscious.
Yeah. I've been doing it for a really long time though, so I guess I'm used to it. But definitely, just editing vocals in general takes a long ass time, and you've got to put a lot of care and patience because you don't want to make it sound edited, but you want it to be nice and clean. And then doing that with your own voice, obviously that can be weird, but I've done it so much that I'm just accustomed to it. That being said, it takes a long ass time. I probably spent like 200 hours or more. Yeah.
You were really putting.
Yeah, I did a lot of it on Twitch. Actually, I did a lot of live editing.
That was sick. That was really sick.
Yeah.
I remember you kind of did. You then did the Cimmerian next, didn't you? Which is our ending track. We didn't know where it was going, but it was just the next one you worked on, right?
Yeah, that was like.
Didn't you go?
I got that out of the way, luckily, because that was the longest and most taxing. There's so many parts, and
it was probably 3 times as many, maybe 2 to 3 times as many tracks as there were in Lavos, right?
Totally. Yeah.
Wow. That was mental. That one. Yeah, that's not on Nail the Mix. But if you don't know how Nail the Mix, here's how it works.
I hope
we can get more on Nail the Mix, though. I would like other ones to be on there.
Yeah, there was one. I didn't write it down, but there was one a while back. I think Joel did.
Animus.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that one was my first track back in the band. That was Andy's first song in the band as well.
Yes.
So Andy was really stoked about having his first Monument song. It wasn't a track that was meant to be on an album, which is why it's not on the record, same as Dead Nest. And I then rejoined in a nick of time. I was like, yo, can I jack some drums? Went to one of my favorite studios out in the Czechia, actually, Czechia. Went and worked with the guys from Modern Day Babylon's studio. And did the same thing. You will have seen the two overhead pairs, the SDC and the LDC. That's where that came from, actually, was just from working with him. So,
And the light bulbs in the back by the air conditioner. Those are also important, right? Yeah. Those light bulbs behind your head.
He's
mine.
joking.
Oh, those. Yeah. I was like, we checked light bulbs.
How were they used?
Well, in Babylon, there are really loud lights in the ceiling, but because they have big fans on them, but they're really far away, so you don't hear them. And I just ripped Brown off with these. He just was like, I just realized how important it was to have a really nice look behind you. The aircon's not meant to be in shot. I just don't have a really good selection of lenses. It's a prime lens. I can't zoom in on it or anything. So.
No, it looks good. But if I actually going back to Animus, I remember Joel was saying that in the drums, apparently you were hitting so hard that they start going out of tune towards the end of the song, and that was something he had to fight with in the mix.
Yeah.
Right.
It always goes out of tune. Everyone tells me just use lug locks, but the way I hit is so focused on the rim that it's going to de-seat the head no matter what is going on. It's got nothing to do with the actual pegs themselves loosening. So if you lock the peg, it's not going to change the fact that you've got a piece of metal being tensioned onto a piece of wood. It's going to slip towards the primary rim shot area. So it's going to be kind of towards my left, which is my main snare part, and a bit of my right. And that's that's why drum dials don't work, because you do end up having to tension the other side more as that happens. You have to kind of compensate for it. And that was with me compensating and retuning after most takes. I just got it wrong. I just got lazy.
Did George have problems with that?
No, I don't think he complained about it at all.
No, I don't think he mixes in the same way. And I mean, with Joel, I think a lot of it just got replaced anyway, so I don't know what he was complaining about. But with George, he was chill with it. I was also more. I'd done a bunch more work with Nolly, and every time I track with Nolly, I learn more about how to tune drums quickly. And I used to look at him and go, "How do you tune drums that fast and that well?" And now I'm kind of like, boom, 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 and then go. Like I'm just like, fuck it, it's not worth sitting around on anymore, which is sick.
Let's see if my computer can actually handle playing the drums out of Lavos. Is it possible? Can we do it?
I don't know. It's up to you.
If you play it also, it might be like they'll hear it, but we won't hear it. Is that right?
Yeah.
That might actually be the case. I wonder if I can.
Wow.
And now I bought the Nintendo Switch thing. Oh yeah, there they are.
So you can play, man.
Yeah, edited. It sounds great. Yeah.
Actually, none of that was in time until George got to it. Yeah. So.
Yeah. No, I edited that one. I made everything mega tight except for like little flurries and little moments of ghost notes. It's all manually like gridded because it just sounds better. Like it just when it's all in the mix, it just has that kind of larger than life sound. It's an intricate thing, and it grooves in a different way when it's unedited. But yeah. So that brings up two questions. Maybe questions. One thing I noticed about the record was it's like on the verge of almost being pretentious, but we're pulled back enough where it's still just really good music and I can still bob my head and get along with it. But that leads me to my next question then is, why not go with the natural groove then? If there is like a natural groove, why not go with the natural groove? I guess it's because I'm almost pretentious enough.
I don't really know how to respond to that actually, because like I feel like this is the least pretentious Monuments effort by a lot.
Yeah, like, it's very natural and just.
I think so. I mean, I feel like we tried to just write songs with structure and an ebb and flow, foreshadowing and introducing elements and then bringing elements back. It's a lot less linear, I think, than.
I wasn't trying to be
the Manny
offensive. I
Wentz's
apologize.
Yeah, we had like an outro track that nearly made it to it, but Brown thought it was too potentially pretentious. But everyone who listened to it, and myself included, thought it was a beautiful acoustic guitar ending to it. I think he just got a bit self-conscious and imposter syndrome about it.
I think that, especially where the songs start with Brown, he is going with the groove. It's just his groove is an alien groove that, you know, only his brain, it only makes sense to him. So it is natural. And then I guess we're just going with at least for me, what it makes me feel.
That was going to be actually one of my questions, especially in Cardinal Red. There's so much going on. How did you come up with a vocal melody to go with what, like, there's so much going on, especially in that chorus section?
Sure. I don't know, man. I guess with the chorus, I just remember hearing the demo that Brown sent, and I knew what I wanted to do. It was like, it popped into my head. That being said, we had to change a chord to make the chorus work. So, yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it's just really obvious as to what I think the song needs, and then there's like the verse where I had to put more time into it because it has that odd syncopated feel, you know, sort of the Tool influence thing.
I still think that's the strongest song on the record now. When I listen back to it, it's that chorus is fucking ridiculous, man. Mm-hmm. You absolutely slayed that one.
Thanks, man. Well, it was your idea to change up the chords too through the second half of it, wasn't it?
I think Brown was playing around with something and he was like looking at a different chord, and I heard something in his jamming that he was already doing. And when he has an amazing idea, sometimes he doesn't realize what's happening, he moves past it. And so that's where I usually sit there going like, yeah, that's all well and cool, but no, that fret, and I might have to put my thumb on the fretboard and be like, no, you just did that. And then he'll kind of go, oh yeah, I did that. Yeah, and then something birthed out of that was like, I love the way that, like the parallel harmony works on that chorus, because it's so different and so like, and it was just done because it sounded cool. Like, I don't know where you got pretentious from, because we really, I mean, I know almost, but like,
almost. It's all right, Mike. I don't think he meant it.
Yeah,
because like I'm grooving along and I'm like,
been more natural, you know.
Because I'm grooving along and I'm like, man, any second this could turn into I got it, guys, you can play. Like it's so reined in.
A wank fest. I think that's what he means. Is that we didn't become a wank fest. We strayed away from it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I don't know, man. I just wanted to make sure the songs were sick. I didn't really care about flexing. This is how high I can go or how brutal I can.
I think we do it for ourselves, don't we? We kind of push our own limits.
Point, I used to make music that way. I used to make it more where I was just trying to show off. But now, yeah, I don't know. Like, I just wanted to make cool songs and cool structures and have them be still satisfying instrumentally. And Brown always does that, and Mikey always does that. So, yeah. I don't know. I didn't feel like I needed to make any weird avant-garde.
I mean, I did definitely do some out there shit, you know, like some
out there, but
we did a couple of crazy. We did that metric modulation thing at the end of Arc Essence. Right, we did it, right. And that was like, I guess it can be read as that, but it was just meant to more put the listener in a state of like, oh, cool, that's different, that's fun, you know.
Yeah, off beaten path stuff that we want to hear in music, I guess, because I'm kind of bored with metal lately, to be honest. Especially like whatever you call gent and prog. Like I wanted to do something that I thought was more refreshing. Hopefully we did.
Yeah, other genres are doing much more like forward-thinking things in a lot of ways. Yeah, like it's stagnated for sure. And yeah, I've got an insanely short attention span, so I kind of do that for me as well, because I'm just like, yeah, that'll be fun.
yeah, me too.
Beautiful. Yeah, I didn't mean to be offensive, gentlemen.
Oh, that's all good.
No, not taken.
didn't mean to take offense either.
Yeah.
I just thought it's all good. It's all fun.
Sweet. So I managed, out of all the tracks, I found those guitar tracks. You mentioned something that Brown was doing, so I'm just... I have to turn those drums down in order to hear him. What's he doing? Oh, yeah. This is what I call the Dimebag Darrell thing without the whammy wah.
those tension chords.
Wait, like what? Because I'm old, so I think of Dimebag doing it with the whammy while dum dum ween dum dum dum
Right.
ween.
No, I think he's not using any pedal for that. It's just
No, he just
he's just sliding it down. Yeah,
like a panic chord or something.
Yeah, that like a chromatic dissonance kind of thing.
Yeah.
some tritones or something.
No, I know what you mean though. Like the Dimebag / like the pitch thing, the wheel fucking like a mirror does that a lot too.
Yeah, or like
that's like an extra. That would be an extra octave up.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Digitech whammy, more like Tom Morello would do.
Right, Tom Morello.
Or Gojiro. Gojiro?
Gojiro. Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah. No, it's like I'm listening to that. I was like, man, what's the bass even doing? Is the bass even do? Well, yeah, he's not even here. So,
I mean, that's just Brown.
Also, not play the bass on the album.
Yeah, just holding the fort, basically.
Damn, I've actually not heard that on its own.
Oh.
Yeah, it's really cool because like you would expect it to hold the bow instead of the bow. I sang the same note there, but you know what I mean, the 5 instead of the -6.
Sure.
But yeah, Brown, it's great because it's always been that, like, it's very rare that Swanee would ever actually record anything on bass because Brown's kind of like a singular entity when he writes, and Ollie would have been the same in the past. They'll write and then they'll track all the rhythms, however many layers of them there are, and then do the bass as well. And then it all sounds like it's come from one place. Like it's not like it is in bands like Lamb of God, where you've got 2 distinct or 3 distinct musicians' vibes create Lamb of God. It's very much more like these riffs will always come from the person who did it. And there'd even be songs in the past where Brown and Ollie had communicated and collaborated, and Brown's riffs Brown would do and Ollie's riffs Ollie would do in the middle of a song. The bass player would change person in those moments. But now that it's just Brown, it's just him. I think a bit of my bass playing I'm not sure if it made it to final, but I rewrote a section with him in one of the songs at one point when we were jamming out.
I think that did make it, actually.
I think it might have made it through. But that's like, just because it was, we were like stuck for ideas. Yeah.
Sure.
Cool. So speaking of nail the mix, how does it work? That's something that gets brought up a lot, is who actually recorded the bass and why, and that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, like in this album especially, we all did our own duties because it was out of necessity. Just because like we're all far away from each other. Duty. God damn it! Now I'm just thinking about shit.
Well, the whole thing could collapse.
The remote thing was like a necessary, but it worked out. It worked out well for the record. I think it was good for us to have full control over our own source and then have them come together and someone like George arrange everything.
So then what I'm gathering is you guys did some over-the-top recording, handed it off to George. He kind of figured out where you guys should go in order to work with him going forward, and then you did?
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah, we did Lavos together, and then he did the whole rest of the record. He did Cardinal separately, and then he did everything else all in one 3 or 4 day pass. Yeah. Where from handing it in, we were like 6 days to deadline. He got us the mixes back in 4 days, and then mastering got us the final revisions back in 2 days, and it was done. And it was
that was crazy.
The stress nearly killed us. It was mental. I wasn't sleeping.
Crazy time.
Good old Jens got it back in time, did he?
Yeah, Jens killed it. Jens was super fast with it. George was great, but it was very fast, like, because we just took our time getting it as right as possible. And, like, looking back on it, if anyone would have wanted to just hand it out earlier, we wouldn't have ever been happy with it. And my mindset was like, well, we'll try and hit that deadline, but we're not going to hand in something we're not happy with. So if we missed it, we lost vinyls.
We barely pulled it off. It was amazing.
Yeah, we were so close to losing vinyls. Like, it was literally because we were lucky to even have a slot for vinyl production. It's such an issue these days. So yeah, the whole thing was so that we could line it up for a pre-arranged tour with a pre-arranged this and a pre-arranged that. And then it turns out the tour was actually easier to rebook than we thought it was. But at the time, it was getting any venue took 8 months just to get a venue because everything was, capacities were reduced and rebookings were so high. Yeah. So it was a crazy time. I can't believe, but the fact we pulled it off through this kind of makes us feel like we can do pretty much anything because the pressure was mental.
We can do anything, boys. All right. I'm actually curious to hear the bass and the guitars together now.
You should listen to the ending where the basses actually are guitars. There's a 6-track guitar, and the edges are the very far guitars are actually just basses run through the guitar channel.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's why, and they're planning to rebuild that as a real live thing where Swanee will be playing, and the bass will then come through the fake quad track.
Oh yeah, that's
in
right.
PA, because it's what they did in Lavos Live, and it'll be two musicians sounding like 7 or 8. Yeah,
there's so many guitar tracks. I don't know which one's which.
Yeah, all the rhythm guitars and the bass at the end, but there's a couple of rhythm guitar channels at the end that sound just like. That literally just are bass going through the guitar amps.
Man, there's even far guitar tracks and then near guitar tracks.
Yeah, it's probably far.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me get
right.
All the left's got to go left, all the right's got to go right.
Ah, yes. Well, you could just solo one of them and then you just hear one of them.
Very true. Now, while I'm doing that, I noticed a couple of the tracks, Cardinal Red and False Providence, seem to have a theme, and I read in the notes from the label that there really isn't a theme to the record or the concept record, but maybe let's dive into a couple of things that we're seeing in the music videos. We got, obviously in Lavos, the guy who's shooting at things and eating chicken wings out of the sand, and then ingesting water that he really shouldn't. And then there's more ingesting going on in Cardinal Red. There's a lot of ingesting. Yeah. There's smoke being ingested in False Providence, blood being ingested in Cardinal Red, and then sand-ridden chicken wings.
Sand-ridden chicken wings. So there actually is a theme. There is a theme for the album.
It is
which
a concept
balance
album,
and equilibrium and power struggles and being stuck in the middle of something. I think all the songs go back to that theme somehow, whether it be on a small scale or a large scale. So like False Providence, for example, is about being at war with oneself and your beliefs and struggling to either hang on or let go of hardwired beliefs that you grew up with that may not necessarily be good for you. And then Cardinal Red is more about like the power struggle between this one was sort of more like a conceptual thing, but it was about like a cult and then the cultees, the what would you call that? A cult leader and the lemmings, the followers? I don't know. But anyway, there's a balance in that too. The sand chicken wings thing, that's a whole, I don't know about that one, but
well, he's on the uniform.
I think the chicken part got added after our second revisions because before the whole thing kind of just led up to him drinking the water, and we were like, I think you missed the point. But the whole idea behind that song is that you've got the last human barricading themselves in a dark and dismal place after an extinction level event has happened, just biding his time until the end comes. So the whole process of him heading to the and then in the video and then the lyrics, it kind of then became further with what does he discover inside that bunker. But before it was just the water and it didn't really make sense. So they added a bunch of shots last minute, which kind of fixed the continuity of it. But yeah, the chicken was an interesting one. But it was like, and then in my head I was like, well, there was an extinction level of event. How the fuck is there a chicken?
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, like there was a lot of continuancy things that didn't work so well with that. But it was cool, like it all worked out.
Yeah, and then he discovers a giant pangolin flapping in the air.
Yeah, well, we removed the flapping pangolin because we thought it looked dumb, and so it just became the idea of the pangolin and the eyes. It did a lot more powerfully, but before it was just like.
Yeah. I wonder how long you spent on that.
I felt really bad for not liking it, and we were like, we were like, oh no, we need to work on this quick.
I didn't think it was that.
yeah. Brown was fucked.
Anyway,
it does.
It turned out pretty good.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. I think the penguin just showed up in chat.
Those were some dark days, man.
Oh yeah.
This is a dark period. Yeah, it was that Walk Hard, and this is a dark period.
Good movie.
Beautiful. And then
Great record.
Yeah. Condolences, Mike. The missus came up in the chat.
It's an in-joke. I mean, obviously, she dies in Cardinal. She's the one who gets her throat slit in the extras. She's actually very much alive and is about 10 meters away. Oh my God. From me. But thank you.
If that was true. That's how he said it. Condolences, Mike. Shit. Sorry, dude.
No. I've still got a bit of fake blood on my drumming shoe. I just found it the other day. It's fucking great.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to turn off all these guitars. Is there anything else in here I want to take a look at? Maybe. Actually, vocals. That's kind of cool. You probably hate hearing your vocals.
Yeah. Feel free to check out the vocals. Especially at the end, there's like a chant. There's a big, like, rotting prophets. Like that chant's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that was Swanee's idea back when the song was actually called Rotting Prophets.
Oh, man.
It was never called that, though.
There was a demo file called that at a moment. Right. There was We're a Perfect Match, and then it became Rotting Prophets, and then it became
Perfect Match.
And that's when it made sense that the end had Rotting Prophets as a chant. And then we just kind of kept it. But it's like, and it's got nothing. Right. At the time, we thought that was the song theme, but we were writing without a theme.
Well, it isn't. So that's fine.
Yeah. The theme kind of wrote itself. We were just making music, and then it turned out we can't write without having a singular concept. It's just not possible for us. It was like so accidental.
Well, that brings a good question. Do you guys write music and then a theme speaks to you, or do you have a theme and then try to write around it? Do you change keys often depending on...
Yeah. It's usually a theme that we try to write around because Brown always writes his guitars with intent, like based on how he's feeling, or he's always like, all right, I wrote this song about this, even though there's no words when he sends me a demo. He tells me what it was about for him, and then I either say, no, I want to write about something else or something similar, or I'm like, okay, that makes sense, here's my take on it. So like we've got a song called Opiate, which is about addiction, and the demo was called Opiate, and I was like, oh yeah, okay, I get it. Obviously when I heard his instrumental, I could kind of hear the themes through the song, through the music. So that helped inspire me to write the lyrics and just run with his idea. Mm-hmm. Usually there's some sort of theme in mind.
Yeah. There's so many vocal tracks. Did you record them right there with that microphone in that room, or did you book?
I didn't record them here. I actually have a studio space downstairs that's properly treated.
Yeah.
But I use the SM7. I take the windscreen off and use a proper pop filter. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I use this mic.
Wow, there's so many chant tracks. How many voices are you doing there? It looks like there's quite a few different voices. How do you pick voices? Do you just go, I'm going to do it this way, and then I'm going to do it this way?
Me and Mikey actually worked that one out together. The first time we recorded the chant, he was like, all right, let's try one like where it's like gritty in this note. And I was like, okay, how about I try that? We just back and forth.
Yeah, I see. I think I might even have the session where we did that saved in an OBS recording somewhere. I've got a lot of actual writing sessions that we did remotely saved as videos. And I seem to remember we just kind of had the rhythm of it, and we started with the fifth, and we think we did a 1-3-5.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an instinct thing too, and like I had Gojira influence with that part, so
I think we ran it through Vocal Synth as well, Isotope's Vocal Synth. I don't know if that made it to the final. I don't know that it's in there. It might have just been.
Yeah. I mean, I can.
If that did, then that's from those times when Andy was tracking and it was coming into my Cubase session over the internet, and we were just having a basically like he was in my room, but the vocals were very crunched and not distorted, but like encoded over like not even MP3 but AAC. At like 192.
Audio movers? Was it audio movers?
No, we were using Cubase's own proprietary connection called VST Connect. Okay. And that's it's kind of built into it. And and then you can have a remote client pop in, and they don't have to pay anything. I paid for the advanced version of it because you can do some really cool things with that, and it means that whenever I hear the remote performer playing, I'm really out of time because my what I hear is like what's being bounced to their computer, processed, and then bounced back to me, and then latency added, and then that's what I hear. So if I try to play something, then it'd be like, but depending on how far away it is. But for Andy, when I hit record, he hears it in time and sings with it, and then when I actually hear it, I'm hearing that bounce back plus him live, and so for me, it feels like he's just in the room with me.
We didn't track that way. That was just a demo session.
Yeah, that was just when we were doing it then and there. But that was an important part of the process, I think.
Totally.
For sure. Yeah, would it have been different without the pandemic, or is that really how you guys have started to work anyway?
It wouldn't. I don't know. Honestly, I feel like we probably still would have done it basically this way. What do you think, Mike?
I think there's. I don't know if I don't think we could have sat and just written with you.
Yeah, I don't think we worked
here.
that way. I think we work best left to our own devices and then sharing stuff and then, all right, what can you do with that?
At the same time, I was more invested in these tools because of the pandemic. So that meant that building a workflow was kind of, we were already experimenting with Lockdown Lunatics, writing that song that I've yet to put out. We really want to send that to that lyric video guy, by the way, and get that done and get going with that. But there was a lot of things we were working out, and I wouldn't have been so good at running remote sessions if it hadn't been for the fact that all I was doing was Twitch because the world had shut down.
The world shut down, except for Twitch.
Yeah, that's when all the musicians jump ship to Twitch. I'm still there. I've been there.
Yeah. I'm still there.
How did you find the response while you were like editing vocals? Because that could be, I know what that's like. That can be mind numbing, right? So.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It was great. I'm just used to it, and I'm actually like not self-conscious about my raw vocal tracks anymore because I've dealt with them so much that it's just, I don't know. It doesn't bug me anymore. When I first got started, as a teenager, I couldn't stand the sound of my own voice, and I couldn't record it, and I couldn't listen back to it. But now, I've edited thousands and thousands of tracks and recorded myself, and I don't lay something down and keep it unless I'm satisfied with it. So a lot of people just thought it was really cool to see how it was done and see a transparent perspective. I'm not trying to hide and be like, hey, I'm not timelining these, I'm not tuning these like I am, but I'm doing it within reason, micro adjustments that need to be made.
Yeah.
And it felt educational. A lot of people were like, oh, I didn't realize how much went into this. Like, holy shit. There's a lot of people that think that you just sing the song in one go and then
all right, guys, just
put
like
it through some like crazy studio filter, like
studio button.
Yeah, like magic button, and then they realize, wow, there's like so much meticulous detail going in.
Yeah.
And it was a cool and fun experience, and it kept me sane while I edited the tracks.
Yeah.
It kept me from going fucking crazy.
Do you work with vocal coaches / producers, or are you on your own?
I'm just on my own now. I guess I always have been, for the most part. Some of my bands I've recorded with other engineers, but for this it was completely by myself. And as far as vocal coaching, I've had some lessons here and there for some really cool people throughout the course of my life, but currently no vocal coach. I did get a lesson from Melissa Cross, the legendary mother of screaming, a couple of years back, and that was sick. But yeah, I don't know. It's just put a lot of hours into this, so I've got the experience and
the 10,000 hours.
It worked out. Yeah,
the 10,000 hours book. What's the biggest thing you took away from screaming in your one lesson, or what did you want to learn in your one lesson?
Oh well, basically when I met her, I was like chasing her down because I had my first big Monuments tour coming up, and I knew how to scream and make it sound good and do it brutal, all that, whatever. But I didn't know how to have to sustain that for like a month at a time. I wanted to make sure that it wasn't gonna blow my voice out on like day 4 or 5 and still have all these shows left. So she she just helped me take the weight off of my scream and especially in a live setting, let the mic do the work and not push. And that allowed my voice to just be healthy and keep going on tour without having to like, cancel shows or fuck myself and just take a lot of the guesswork out of it, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. One other thing the label said is that, I'll quote unquote, the introduction of composer Mick Gordon as a featured artist is also a huge turning point for the band. Talk about this huge turning point. How did Mick get involved?
Mike, you want to take this one?
Yeah, he was. So Brown met up with him when Monuments played in Australia, and I think neither of us were in the band at the time. I was on a break with my injuries. Andy hadn't joined yet, and Monuments played in Australia. And Brown met up with Mick Gordon because they were mutual fans of each other. And over the period of having a couple of beers and just chilling out, Mick was kind of like, if you ever want to collaborate, like, just let me know. And Brown kept saying, like, he might be down for doing something. He might be down for doing something. And we were kind of like, yeah, like, I don't know. I didn't understand that they had a tight-knit relationship or that was a real offer. And so in my head, I was like, I don't want to bother that guy. Don't worry about it too much. But then Brown stopped listening to me by Lavos and just messaged him and just said, just do it. And then he came back to us like, he's just doing it. And we were like, what? That's amazing. So I guess it was one of those things where I just completely overthought it, because he came through and absolutely demolished it. And then when we were like, let's have, can we ask him? I remember sitting there with Brown in his kitchen, listening to Lavos again on the final master going, we can't not have him on the record. Can we see if he's up for doing everything? And he sent him one WhatsApp message, and the response was like, yeah, all right, let's do it. And it was like that. It was like the easiest thing. It was so sick.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sonic landscapes, because that was one of the things I noticed actually was the sonic landscapes. There's so many different textures and things going on between clean guitars, synth, Andy's vocals, and it just kind of all seems to ebb and flow and come in and out.
Hell yeah, man! Thanks.
Yeah.
We worked really closely with him. He was, because we had a Discord going where it was all of us just inputting our ideas, and it's like, all right, this is ready for Mike to do some stuff. This is ready for Andy. This is ready for Mick, and it was just like a back and forth developing them, and that allowed us to be really cohesive with what we were doing with Mick. It didn't feel like it was just slapped on. It was like embedded into the whole process. So I think I feel super fortunate that he was willing to put that time in for us and with us and not just have it be an afterthought. Like, it really felt like he was a member of the band when we were doing it.
Mm-hmm. So all these synths and things, that's him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 99% of it. There's some stuff that Mike did.
Yeah, there were a few holes that he left. He didn't do anything on Makeshift Harmony, which has yet to come out. He just didn't find time for that. And I was like, this is a prime single. So I kind of built the intro for it. I don't think I actually had to do anything during the song at all.
No, it didn't really need it. It just but you filled in a lot of the gaps though of like between song stuff.
Yeah, the beginning of Cimmerian I did, the beginning of the lead into Cimmerian, a bunch of textual things. But Mick actually gave me a packet of like private, not to be reused outside Monuments, but like samples.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, that's cool.
He gave me some sick shit. I actually went through on a stream and I was doing that. I think I was doing it on my own channel because we didn't have a channel at the time for nice. Monuments. Yeah. And it was. I've still got it. It's an amazing package of sounds. So anything we do for Monuments, for marketing stuff, audio things for video, I've got this fucking package of like mix fucking. And he just gave me this humongous package. He's like, I don't have time to make anything, but I have this. Yeah. And my rudimentary sound design skills, I'm much better at layering awesome sounding things than I am at creating awesome sounding sources. So when I did my processing on top of mixing, it was similar enough to sound like one fluent sound. The only difference is I kind of distort and bit crush more than he does. So his stuff sounds way cleaner than mine does. He's way more dynamic, way more musical, but his intentions and his skills are just unbelievable when it comes to sound design. But I've been a huge fan of him since Doom came out. I watched his 2016 GDC video so many times, so to get to work with him was like getting to work with a huge influence because I love sound design and I love that kind of stuff.
He's very talented and gifted, and we're super lucky. I felt super lucky.
Yeah. Well, that explains why this is called MG Synth Waldorf, then. The MG starts to make a little more sense.
Yep, yeah. All the synths are all, and that's why there are so many tracks. I think there's like 60 tracks of just Mick, I think.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It's complete overwhelm.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I remember when we first heard that, we were like, excuse me?
Yeah, that was like in the announcement video.
Yeah,
Like that.
the announcement video we made when he was
Which
like,
I love.
oh man, we made that in one take.
Awful.
I don't know if you've seen that video, John. We basically on YouTube we did like this thing where Brown was like, we just did this skit and Brown's like super excited on like a demo he's made, but it's like it's purposefully sounds fucking terrible, and I'm just and he's like yeah, and I'm like awful. Like we got to do something about this. So who can we get in that is going to make this album not fucking suck? And then
Right.
Mick just pops in and is like,
Years.
hello
It's like,
boys.
Yeah.
what's up, guys?
What's going on? And then there's that sound effect, and then that was how we announced Mick being part of the record, or at least part of the song.
Yeah. You know what's funny is by itself, you put like a beat behind that, I'm brought back to like The Matrix or something, you know? Like,
Yeah, totally.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there's incredible moments in that, like the False Providence stems. Like I feel like I could just play it along to the Mick stuff, and because it's got some of those Andy weird vocal. That's the only song where Mick did vocal stuff. Is I think is in False Providence. Those kind of reversed vocal things. They're like with you, plays you, like, and it kind of sounds like it's coming in from another fucking world.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's the only time he did it. And funnily enough, those effects were built off of the demos, weren't they? Because that's all the vocals he had at the time. He didn't have a chance to rebuild those sounds based off the final thing. So it was cool. It was like the echo of your past coming in, like in a really cool way.
Yeah,
and it
I guess
actually is like, it sounds like that, and it is that, which is sick.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, it was one of my notes in False Providence was like, there's even more synth. But it all, it just...
There's also weird, like, 909 claps in the stereo field, like, throughout the verse. You hear this, like, like, all over the place. And it's almost like a fucking Michael Jackson production, hidden. And it's hidden in plain sight. It's like, it's right there. When you hear it, you can't unhear it.
Right.
It's actually mental. And it's funny because it's so well done. It's so loud, but it's so clean and so well made that... Without knowing that, of course, you would be like the people who are commenting who are like, I need to know what he's actually doing. I'm like, you have no idea how much it doesn't sound like the album when you mute his stuff. It's like, you know, and it was really cool for us because especially Brown and myself, we've been through many iterations of Monuments over the years. And we always had to finish a song in every sense of the word before any vocals even touched it, because we wouldn't have time to get there with a vocalist to actually build a song until Andy came along. Mm-hmm. And then it turns out he actually likes writing and like getting involved in the process in a way that we had never had before. And then we also had Mick on our side. It meant we could underwrite, we could leave space for people to fill, and then people would fill it, and then we'd never had that before. In at least, even on the Amanuensis, the vocals came in so last minute that like we were having arguments about the way it all came together. But we were like, well, we could have communicated this, but we just didn't. So, sucks to be you. And now it was so cool to be able to listen to stuff and be like, this is stuff we would have thrown away before because it's not big enough. And then it would get filled in, and then we would do those parts. And then what we would come out with would be, in our minds, better than what we would have ever done when we were just sitting on it going like, well, we better make this sound like a perfectly finished instrumental that then has vocals slammed on the top of it. So it does sound different because of it, but I think it's a good different. But that's primarily where the difference in sound comes from. But that makes them songs, right? Not just pieces.
Right. You didn't just add the salt at the end. You built that from the ground up, baby. It's in the onions. It's in the garlic.
Season the onions in the start.
Yeah. That's
realized you needed peppers instead of mushrooms. You wouldn't have known that without the salt.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You got
salty.
Salty. What is this?
Toasty.
Oh, there's a clap.
Toasty. Nice. That was really good.
Yeah, there's all kinds of little jingles.
Yeah, you got a nice little soundboard going on there
in here.
Man, that's sick. I want that. I need those things.
Yeah. You can do it on Stream Deck. I think Stream Deck has its own set of things that you can do now.
Oh yeah, this is like a Nike commercial right here.
Yeah, actually, that wasn't going to exist. I actually asked for that to be added, and Mick just wrote. That's Mick's drumming, actually, on that. I think. Yeah.
Uh-oh,
I've only got one of them here, I think.
Okay. Something's called Tom Sawyer, so I'm listening, and I get it. Yeah.
Hey, Tom Sawyer. Yeah.
Have you considered a Rush cover? I think you could go that high. You could go as high as Getty, yeah.
Yeah. I would totally do that if I had the right band to play it.
You probably might want to start looking on Craigslist or something.
I used to listen to Rush a lot actually when I was growing up because it's one of my dad's favorite bands. So I would totally do that.
Do you find do you find any of those influences here?
Probably,
Rush?
but subconsciously, you know what I mean? Like that
Subconsciously.
stuff is so ingrained into me from an early age that it is. I'm sure it was there, but it wasn't something where I was like, let me try to do something like Rush.
Yeah. You know what we need
but-
here?
You know, inevitably, I'm sure.
Inevitably.
Inevitably.
Indubitably.
Indubitably.
Yeah, is that what you're doing over there? Oh, there's a bunch of chants. A thousand chants. Oh, there's some other vocals over here. What's going on over here? What's this little guy doing? It's barely kept alive, driven by craven vengeance. All right.
Some of us, yeah.
Yeah, some of us were filled with rage, some of us with pride, but in the end, we're all entwined.
Empty.
Empty.
Yeah, you say it so poetically. I enjoy it.
He's a motherfucking lyrical genius.
Yeah. Mike's finally starting to read the lyrics after all.
It only took me months. It will be better for me when I've physically got it in front of me, because I'm still reading page 1, then page 16, then page 2, then page 15.
Mm-hmm.
I could just print it,
Right.
but I have not done that.
Okay. Yeah. Do you guys go through, or is that more of like an Andy thing, go through the lyrics and say, okay, you know what, that vowel's not really working. Find a new word.
Oh God, yeah, bro, so much.
Yeah, we
Like,
left that all to him.
so much. I'm like extremely meticulous. I have OCD, so I get very obsessive and detail oriented, and I will come up with the vowel sounds before the words for a lot of it, because like it has to sound right, and then
Like
it's
a
really hard to explain,
fucking
but I just know
professional.
when something does not work. Like the chorus, save yourself while you can. Like, what if I was just like, dive into my own spleen? You know, like those fucking. I know those words don't make sense, but those like that's dumb. That sounds
from a
yeah.
linguistic
It's just like a brain thing.
Is it
You
the
know.
other track?
yourself while you can.
There it is. There it is right there, baby. What else is here on the piece of paper? The group's first LP with lead vocalist Andy.
That's right.
Sounds like there's actually quite a few firsts on this album. Would you say that this came? It sounds like it came together unbelievably, like a train running through hot butter. Like it was just.
It was more like a train. Well, yeah, but that train was running on fumes. It was like we were pushed so hard.
No
It
one knew
worked.
where it was going.
Well,
All we knew was that someone was on the train, needed to get to a station by a certain
It was
time.
chaotic, but yes, like it was not through. You know, it felt really natural. But yeah,
Natural.
running on natural beauty. Yeah, running on fumes.
Yeah, it was mental, man.
With Rush. and
Definitely
Michael
not
Jackson
like
was-
a knife through butter. It was definitely more like a knife through the heart, which is made of butter. But we got there. It was fun.
Or the
butter.
throat, according to that music video. It was a knife through the throat. After you wipe that smile off of your face. Actually, I'm curious, why this production team? George is up and coming, right? But
We were kind of shitty. We did mix tests. We knew we wanted a different sound of Joel.
Yeah.
We
Yeah, we
asked
had a few-
Ackle from Tesseract. He was just like, I don't know what to do with this. We asked Nolly. He sent something. It didn't really gel with us, though. It didn't take it anywhere.
Yeah.
And then we were kind of like, for some reason, didn't think of George immediately. And then we just thought, hey, why not try it? And he was like so into it straight off the bat. And rather than, and he hates mix tests. And now I do too, because I get it. It doesn't make any sense.
No.
But we were like, these are the things we want. And instead of just doing that, he questioned us. Oh, you want aggressive top end on the guitars? Define aggressive. It was like 1 a.m. and he had to work at like 6, but he spent like hours just go.
We chatted until the job. 2. You could tell that he wanted the job.
He was like, tell me about the kick drums you like. Tell me about the snare drums you like. What does Andy like? What does Brown like? Yeah, so he was like, let me not send you something you're not going to like. Let me find out what you like and then make you something you're going to like.
Yeah. So it wasn't like you guys heard Loathe and went, that.
No, not at all. Not at all. It was more just like Brown was like, I've got a good feeling about George, and I think we should give him a try. Yeah. And I didn't really know too much about his production before then. And it was just like what he sent back to us was so dynamic and inclusive. And to be honest, I was used to like our previous singles, nothing against the way they sounded, but they were a little bit like brick walled sounding and not very dynamic. And
that's Joel.
Yeah, we were just looking for a different feel. And when we started getting stuff back from George, we were like, damn, this is live, this sounds really expressive and dynamic. And it was like that. This is awesome. Let's go. Let's move forward.
Yeah, even before I heard the records, when I saw that was the team, Jens and George, I knew I was going to get something that sounded thick, full, heavy, but breathed.
Yes, it breathes. It breathes super well.
Yeah.
And I was sick of it. It's not just us. It was, across the genre, just like a lot of, I don't know. It didn't breathe.
It was just there, which was cool, but I think we wanted something more musical. So when George did that, and then George was like, who do you want to master it? We were like, who do you want to master it? You're part of a process that who do you work well with? And he said his most musical masters were coming from Jens. So that's why we chose Jens. It was entirely off of, and we also, Jens is a very well-known character, but it's a stylistic thing. No one's better or worse. Everyone's just different. And if you've got two people who have a good relationship, then you know that it's more about like the speed of it. Does he like, George knows what Jens needs already, so that's one less thing to go wrong, passing it from A to B and stuff like that. So it was like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. He's got experience handing over to mastering engineers. If we impose our own thing on that, thinking we're going to do it better, that's a bit pretentious of us, really, isn't it? Like,
yeah, almost on the cusp of it.
But almost just on the cusp.
Not quite there. And then when you said, who do you work with, I immediately heard Austin Powers. Who do you work for? And then he's flushing me down. He's like, who do you work for? Number 2. You give her, buddy. Okay. Cool. Anything else? Look, a tour date. There's one tour date. Is that really a tour if there's one date, April 22nd?
I think it probably only has one date, but now there's a tour.
Yeah, we did have just one date. We announced London because that was a definite. And then we announced the rest of the UK shows around that, which is April 22nd, 23rd.
We got Manchester on the 22nd, Nottingham on the 23rd.
Couple of days off.
28th, Birmingham, 29th, London on the 30th, and eventually we are going to announce more shows as well.
Yeah, we do have Hellfest on June the 16th, and we also have that's in France, and then we have Dark River Festival in Finland on August 12th, and a plethora of other shows that, like all the other shows that we didn't announce, fell apart and you never heard about. But now it's looking like they're all going to happen because the world's a little bit more friendly. But at the same time,
working on it.
Yeah, there's so much to announce. Keep an eye out on all of our socials for all of that. Wish I could say more right now, but it's just a different world now.
Yes.
What about Canada?
Let's go.
Coming to Canada?
Canada would be sick.
Yeah. We've got plans for that. I mean, we so if you didn't know, we have had a bit of a tumultuous history with our tour plans for the US and Canada. This stretches back to before I was back in the band. There was a tour that had been cancelled. And then got rescheduled, and I'm not sure if it was that time or there had been another cancellation, and then that was the tour. It was meant to basically, it was the second or the first after it was the second or the third time around trying to do this tour, and then COVID hit. and we had to cancel again. So now we're about to do it again. I think it's now rebooked for the third time. However, we haven't announced it yet because, again, it's difficult. Everything's changed.
Yeah.
But
keep an eye out for announcements. U.S. shows as well.
Yeah, there's a US Canada run. It's been in the works for ages. It's actually looking quite good.
Yeah.
But you won't hear about it unless we're pretty confident it's going to happen.
Yeah. I can't tell you how many times I've been like, so you have a tour coming up, and the band's like, not anymore.
God.
Well, now we have solid plans. We got cool plans.
Yeah, I'm starting to get.
And then of course the new album will be out April 15th, so that's coming up in a little less than 3 weeks.
Yeah. There'll be another music video and a supporting
I don't
single
know
coming
when
out on April 15th as well. To come out with it, that will be a bit more of a radio-y one. So keep an ear out on the
We'll be on the East.
Yeah, well, we always do East. We start there. That's where Andy's
So I
from.
was responding to a comment.
Yeah, no. I've got the chat up too.
Yeah.
Cheers, fun Slayer.
Cheers, some Slayer. Yeah, come to the East Coast and you come to the US. Yeah, so go to the East Coast. I hear that there's people on the East Coast of the United States.
Some cool people, man. There's some cool people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's some cool shit. There's some cool food in Georgia. Atlanta wasn't shit for the food scene last I remember.
No. And besides, you got some heavy hitters in there, especially in Atlanta. So that's yeah. Alton Brown comes from that territory.
Great guy.
Mm-hmm.
Good eats.
Yes.
Sick.
Yeah, Defunslayer, where in the East Coast? Nothing beats West Coast nachos, though. What's going on with the West Coast
That's a reference
nachos?
to a song we wrote together.
Oh, okay.
Man.
Let's get that to the lyric video guy today. I think I was just waiting on lyrical formatting to send it to him. That's the only thing that was just there. We should do that. That song's like how old now? 2 years?
It's on you, buddy.
Wow.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Better get on the Discord with that stuff. What other guests? Nima, we got here. Spencer.
Yeah, we got
Nima.
Spencer on a track. We got Nima on a track. We got fucking Spencer.
So we got Nima. So do you know of Nima from before the first album days at all, John?
Yeah, briefly. I mean, I've never chatted with, but I know. Yeah.
Yeah, you know that he was the singer in Fell Silent, and we had an EP called We Are the Foundation in the early days back in 2010, and Nima was on that. So things went wrong then, clearly because he didn't stay in the band. But it's really nice for us to have buried the hatchets and gotten really close friendships again, and then featured him on the record as a result, which was fucking sick. But yeah, Spencer, that was Andy's dream really to have him on, and we had prior.
Yeah, it was really great. Really great to have him. Super cool.
Yeah.
I was again for me. I wrote him, and it was just like it was with Mick and Brown. It was just like, you want to do this? He was like, yeah, go on then, send me the shit. I was like, yeah,
totally.
Cool. It was.
Yeah, lucky.
Yeah,
lucky for me.
All right. Chat's lighting up about announcements. We've got the next single, Makeshift Harmony. What else was there? Tour dates. What else was there?
Yeah,
UK tour dates, then Hellfest and Dark River Festival at the moment. That's all that's announced.
More playthroughs coming also. Some more playthroughs.
Yeah, we got some playthroughs for False Providence.
False Providence, that's happening.
Yep, they're a little bit behind, but they're happening. We got an awesome range of merch related to this new single, as well as others. And once that merch is gone, it's gone forever.
Please go check out the exclusive merch.
Yeah, we went really hard with the merch on False Providence. We did a full sublimation print, and it's amazing artwork that was actually, funnily enough, it was the original artwork for the album, the island in the middle of the sea. Except it was much less desolate. It was more like a holiday destination, and we were just like, that's not the record. And he redesigned the album cover in fucking 2 weeks, which was insane. I couldn't believe that he pulled it out, because we were like 2 weeks before and we're like, can we see it? He was like, here it is. We were like, no. But then False Providence came out, and it was like, and he turned it into a more, that he'd made it all elephant-y and old, like Indian burial ground vibes, and it was fucking sick. But yeah, it's printed really huge all over a tee. Sublimation prints are hard to do; they're expensive, but we had a feeling that people would want them, so we're just shouting about that a lot, making sure that they get grabbed before they're all gone.
Get it now. Cool.
Oh God, can you imagine Macari and Monuments touring together just to torture Andy?
Never gonna happen.
Nah. I'm done double dutying as well. Last time I did that, I literally destroyed my destroyed my back and destroyed my hip.
Getting too old.
Played for David Maxim Midzic and Nick Johnston, both supporting animals as leaders, which was damn fun, but it put me out of the game. So not doing that anymore. What animal is the next single artwork going to be? I'll tell you when we see it. Haven't seen it yet.
Someone's seeing Legend of Zelda on the wall. Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got quite a bit of memorabilia back here.
I like how you pointed the
Majora's
microphone
Mask
at it.
mostly. I'm a huge Majora's Mask fan.
Okay.
Got some cool art. Yeah.
Groovy. I think that covers everything. Is there anything I missed?
All right.
Anything you guys want to chat about?
No, I think we covered pretty much everything from announcement wise, and
thanks for diving in so much on the musical side. It's a lot of the times we're answering like the thematic, the writing, the quite normal questions, but to actually have a bit of a deep dive on the Nail the Mix.
Yeah, it was
a really nice take.
Cool. Thanks for having us. Thanks for your contributions and the sound bites and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate it. Yeah, when the label wrote and said, "Hey, do you want to interview these guys?" I thought, yeah, I guess I could do that. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Those pretentious twats.
Those guys who are on the cusp of just being pretentious.
Oh my god.
On the cusp.
I need to go ice my fucking shoulder. You guys.
Dude, yeah, you go
I'm
do that.
hurt.
You go do that. And then I'll hit you up later, Andy.
All right.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
good.
Well,
All right, guys.
thanks so much, John. Appreciate you. Thank you, chat. Thanks for hanging.
Thank you, guys.
Tahad, thanks for being there as well. Met from old friends, and Reverie and Stefan Slayer. You're all champs for hanging out.
I'll be back on stream next week. By the way, friends.
Sick. Yes, we have our own Twitch channels. I'm Malian Drum on Twitch. Andy is Andy Sizik. We also have a Monuments Twitch, so please follow all three of them. Malian Drum. I'll just write the names of them in chat. You got Malian Drum, you got Andy Sizik, and you got This Is Monuments. Just find them all on Twitch. Follow them all up. You'll see lots more from us, and unless you don't want to see that, in which case, just please don't. And this has been fun either way.
Beautiful. Awesome. Yeah, thanks again so much, guys. And then everybody out there, we're going to say goodbye. So,
All right.
cheers, boys.
Peace out, my friends.
Take
Thanks
care.
again.
Yeah.
Cheers. Bye-bye.